We begin with an investigation into a train accident in Salinas tonight. Good evening, I'm Marissa Schwartz. Back here locally, the Monterey Peninsula is wrapping up several big events. Thousands of runners and their families packed the streets this weekend. Well, Daniel says he's working on building a stronger core and building up the strength in his lower back. He continues to train here in Salinas. And in Santa Cruz, police are calling the assault on an 86-year-old woman cowardly. The attack happened this past Wednesday, but police just released surveillance footage to try and get the public involved in figuring out how this all happened. Our Jake Reiner has more on the story from Santa Cruz. And people took to the streets in New York armed with a pillow, all for fun in honor of International Pillow Fight Day. Some people really got into it. The theme for this event was superheroes versus villains. The event is done all around the world. So Sydney, when's the last time you had a pillow fight?
I think the last time I had a pillow fight was probably junior high school. But I mean, people are out there, adults out there alike. And
I know, it looks like fun, right?
It does.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow from 5 to 7 a.m. Remember, the news never stops online. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Good night. Chaos in the streets of one North Salinas neighborhood. All of this leading to a standoff between the suspects and SWAT officers. 3 robbery suspects lead police in 2 Central Coast cities on a wild chase lasting into the wee hours this morning. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Marissa Schwartz. One suspect is still on the loose tonight. Central Coast News reporter Jake Reiner takes us to the North Salinas neighborhood where it turned into a dramatic situation last night for residents.
Shattered glass.
Police say the robbery victim had minor injuries and was taken to the hospital. Officers say all 3 suspects have had run-ins with the law before. This man is behind bars tonight after Scotts Valley police say he was found with a pound of marijuana in his car. Police say they also found a loaded semi-automatic pellet pistol in 20-year-old Christian Hudson's car. He was arrested for the transportation of marijuana and was placed on a probation hold. In Los Angeles, police are mourning the death of an officer killed in a hit-and-run accident early this morning. A second officer was severely hurt in the crash as well. Investigators say the officers were on a high-speed chase when they were hit by another car and the driver took off. Police say Officer Roberto Sanchez, the officer killed, was on the force for about 6 years.
Officer Sanchez.
Governor Jerry Brown issued a statement giving his deepest condolences to Officer Sanchez's family. Well, bacteria levels are too high for this popular beach spot. That's according to the Santa Cruz Public Works Department. And with summer right around the corner, we're taking a look at the city's plan to fix the problem. Health advisory warnings are a consistent issue for Cowles Beach, and the Santa Cruz Public Works Department says it's prepping to plug the problem. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Marissa Schwartz. Central Coast News reporter Cassandra Arsenal finds out why engineers think a neighboring lagoon is to blame. The Santa Cruz Public Works Department says no one has gotten sick from any of the bacteria so far. The gates are already in place and the city plans to seal them off sometime next week. On a positive note, the Santa Cruz water treatment plant won an award for being the best in California. The plant employees say they treat up to 10 million gallons of water a day and pride themselves on innovation. The award has been handed out to them because the plant always meets its treatment requirements. Water goes through 8 different stages during the treatment process. The plant says it's recycling 200,000 gallons of water a day, and then it's used to clean sewers and pumps. Also in Santa Cruz, California Highway Patrol is investigating a deadly hit-and-run accident from last night. Officers say it happened on Soquel Drive west of North Rodeo Gulch just before midnight. This is where officers say a bicyclist fell off his bike and into traffic where he was hit by the driver of a Mazda sedan who reportedly ditched the scene. The bicyclist was taken to a hospital where he later died. Officers say a damaged hubcap was also found at the scene. If you have any information, call police. Earlier today on Cowles Beach, 2 female paddleboarders were rescued after they were stranded near the Santa Cruz Wharf. This is eye coverage of that. Harbor Patrol being sent out to rescue them. Apparently, the wind was also a contributing factor there. Neither one of them were hurt. And sticking to Santa Cruz news tonight, Santa Cruz County investigators are teaming up to combat prostitution. During an undercover operation, deputies say 5 people were arrested. Deputies say 3 females were arrested for prostitution-related charges and 2 males were arrested for solicitation. This is all part of an undercover operation along the lower Ocean Street corridor where police say prostitution is becoming a problem. Monterey County deputies say a registered sex offender is back behind bars tonight for a probation violation. Deputies say 44-year-old Anthony Lewis was arrested at his home in Gonzales after he reportedly had alcohol. Investigations into 2 other possible registration violations continue in the city of Gonzales tonight. Heading to Prunedale, where investigators are still trying to locate 22-year-old Claudia Giron. The Monterey County Sheriff's Department says Giron is developmentally disabled and has been missing since Monday. Deputies say she reportedly was picked up in Prunedale by a man she didn't know driving a small gray or silver 4-door car. Family members say she told a friend she was going to Oakland for a job. If you have any information, call police. Well, it's a big weekend for runners here on the Central Coast as people travel from all over the world to participate in one of the toughest marathons in the United States. We're, of course, talking about the Big Sur International Marathon. But with every big event comes some traffic headaches, so let's get to the information for you. Tomorrow, there are 2 specific roads that will be closed, likely to cause some traffic, of course. The main closure, Highway 1 from Big Sur all the way to Carmel. That's the race course. It'll close at 4 a.m. and will open once the race is complete around 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. But if you're anywhere near Rio Road in Carmel, that's where the finish line is. Race coordinators say you should expect some traffic delays. Race director Dave Thurston says it's usually expected, though, on marathon weekend. Well, if you're interested to watch the race, the best spot will be along Rio Road at the finish line. That's where the Carmel Shopping Center is. Keep in mind there's no place to watch the course or watch the race along mid-course. Meantime, local law enforcement agencies say they're beefing up security near the marathon. CHP will have extra officers on hand tomorrow, so regular patrols can cover the rest of the Central Coast. They'll work with CAL FIRE, the Sheriff's Department, Monterey Police, and some others to monitor crowds and direct traffic. Well, the bigger question for tomorrow is what will the weather be like for the marathon? Let's turn it over to meteorologist Sydney Daniel for the answer. So, do we have any rain in the forecast, Sydney?
Well, Marissa,
Thanks, Sydney. Well, rain is clearly coming tomorrow, just in time, though, as Governor Jerry Brown issues a second executive order this week to deal with the drought situation that we're still in. Brown says he hopes the step will combat wildfires in the future, while also helping cities and farmers dealing with this devastating dry spell. The order he issued yesterday outlines purchases for firefighting equipment while also approving voluntary water transfers. Brown issued his first drought-related executive order back in January. Heading to Los Angeles, where police have arrested a 14-year-old accused of a brutal attack on an elderly woman in Hemet. This is actually the second person to be arrested in this case. Authorities say the teens are accused of tying up an 87-year-old woman in her apartment, then pouring bleach on her. A neighbor says the woman was put in a medically induced coma following the incident.
I think it's...
Investigators say the teens will likely be charged with attempted murder and assault. Heading to Buena Park now, where police say an elderly man drove a car into a line of people at an ice cream shop yesterday. Investigators say 1 person was killed and 6 others, including some teenagers, suffered minor to moderate injuries. Police say the driver appeared to be disoriented, but they're still questioning him to see what exactly happened. The driver has not been arrested.